There are times in life when the most courageous action is to walk away. As a Stoic, your greatest responsibility is to protect your inner peace, maintain self-control, and ensure that your soul remains fortified against the chaos of the world. But relationships, those deep, intimate bonds that hold so much potential, can either be a foundation of strength or a storm of destruction. Today we'll uncover 10 signs, rooted in Stoic wisdom, that tell you it's time to end a relationship. Make sure to watch the whole video and make no mistake. When these signs emerge, it is not only a Stoic choice to walk away, it is the only choice. Number 1. The relationship disrupts your inner peace. A Stoic knows that peace comes from within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." When you find yourself constantly anxious, uncertain, or on edge, the relationship is disrupting your inner calm, the very foundation of your Stoic practice. Imagine waking up each day, unsure of what mood your partner will be in. Your mornings begin with anxiety. Your evenings end in silence. You feel like you're walking on eggshells, and your sense of peace is shattered. The Stoic response? Walk away. Nothing, not even love, is worth the destruction of your peace. No relationship should have the power to rob you of this state. If your partner continually disrupts your inner harmony, they are not only affecting your emotions, they are steering you away from your Stoic path. True love, grounded in Stoic principles, would uplift your peace, not dismantle it. Number 2. The relationship encourages destructive emotions. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, warned about the dangers of allowing emotions to dictate our actions. Anger, an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than to anything on which it is poured. If your relationship constantly provokes anger, jealousy, or bitterness in you, then it is causing more harm than good. You may find yourself in a relationship where your partner's manipulative behavior triggers jealousy and resentment. Every day is a struggle to maintain composure, but more often than not, you lose the battle. If your partner constantly makes you feel out of control, it's a sign that the relationship is pushing you into irrational behavior, making it incompatible with Stoic virtue. When you begin to question your worth and sanity, the Stoic answer is clear. The relationship is feeding destructive emotions. It's time to end it. Number 3. The relationship undermines your values. A true Stoic holds their values above all else. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. If your relationship forces you to compromise your principles, honesty, integrity, self-respect, it's time to walk away. You cannot live a life of virtue while tied to someone who drags you away from your ethical core. You might find yourself with a partner who pressures you to lie or bend your moral code to avoid conflict. Each time you do, you lose a bit of yourself. Epictetus would ask, at what cost? It's better to stand alone in your principles than to be part of a relationship that corrodes your virtue. The loss of your values is the loss of your essence. No relationship should ask you to sacrifice who you are at your core. Number 4. You're stagnating instead of growing. Growth is essential for a Stoic. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "What stands in the way becomes the way," emphasizing that challenges should make us stronger. But when a relationship holds you back, suppresses your ambitions, or keeps you in a state of complacency, it becomes a barrier to your growth. Perhaps you have dreams and ambitions, maybe pursuing education or a new career path, but your partner belittles those aspirations, telling you you're fine where you are. You find yourself shrinking, your potential wilting under their criticism. A Stoic knows that growth is non-negotiable. A relationship that keeps you from evolving is one to leave behind. Growth is part of human nature, and to neglect it is to forsake your own humanity. A relationship that stifles your development is not only detrimental, but a betrayal to your own potential. Number 5. The relationship relies on external validation. A relationship built on appearances or the approval of others is inherently weak. Seneca reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. If your relationship thrives on social media approval, or you're staying because of fear of judgment from others, you're clinging to an illusion. You might stay with someone because your relationship looks perfect to the outside world. But behind closed doors, you're miserable. You're living for the validation of others, not for yourself. If a relationship is built on the need for approval, it is fragile and destined to collapse under the weight of its own superficiality. For the Stoic, the opinions of others are meaningless. It's time to reclaim your authenticity. Number 6. You're constantly making excuses for their behavior. A Stoic does not hide from reality. Marcus Aurelius urged us to be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. However, when you find yourself making constant excuses for someone's harmful behavior, you're denying the truth. A relationship built on deception, whether of self or others, must end. You might rationalize your partner's behavior. They're just stressed or they didn't mean it. But deep down, you know you're excusing repeated failures that are eroding your spirit. The Stoic mind knows that denying reality weakens the soul. By making excuses for your partner, you are placing chains on yourself. Excuses are self-deception, and in Stoicism, self-deception is the greatest threat to living a virtuous life. The truth, no matter how painful, is the only way forward. It's time to face the truth and let go. Number 7. You fear being alone more than you value your own happiness. Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. A Stoic doesn't cling to things or people out of fear. If you're staying in a relationship because the fear of being alone is greater than the desire for true happiness, you are not free. You're chained by your own insecurities. You may stay in a toxic relationship because the thought of being alone terrifies you, but over time you realize your true enemy isn't solitude, it's the fear of it. The moment you embrace your solitude, you find peace and freedom that no relationship can provide. It is better to stand alone in virtue than to be surrounded by others in misery. Number 8. You're no longer yourself. A Stoic's identity is rooted in self-mastery. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." But if a relationship erodes your sense of self, you lose that freedom. If you find yourself becoming a shadow of who you once were, your personality dimming, your passions fading, it's time to break free. You may have once been full of passion and purpose, but now you find that your hobbies, interests, and even your laughter have all but disappeared. You are no longer the person you once were. A Stoic would remind you, losing yourself for someone else is never a price worth paying. When a relationship causes you to lose sight of who you are, it strips you of your ability to live according to your nature. If you've forgotten who you are, it's time to remember and reclaim yourself. Number 9. The relationship is built on control, not mutual respect. A Stoic thrives in relationships that are founded on mutual respect and autonomy. Marcus Aurelius taught us that we cannot control others, only our own reactions. If your partner seeks to dominate or control you, rather than supporting your autonomy, it's a sign that you must leave. If your partner constantly tries to dictate your choices, whether it's your career, friendships, or even daily decisions, you begin to feel suffocated. A Stoic would tell you that control is the antithesis of respect. Without respect, there is no real relationship. It's time to walk away. The Stoic life is one of freedom, and any relationship that seeks to dominate your spirit is antithetical to the Stoic path. Number 10. You've forgotten how to be happy. In Stoicism, happiness is not something to be found in another person. It comes from living in accordance with your nature. If a relationship drains your joy, if you've forgotten what it feels like to be content, then it has become a source of suffering, not fulfillment. You might look back on who you were before the relationship, someone full of joy, passion, and life, and realize that person is gone. Your relationship has drained your happiness, leaving only emptiness behind. If your relationship has robbed you of the ability to enjoy the present moment, it's a sign that it has become a burden. A Stoic knows that when joy fades and cannot be recovered, it's time to move on. As a Stoic, you must have the courage to walk away from relationships that corrode your soul. The journey towards self-mastery, inner peace and virtue is too valuable to be sacrificed for anyone or anything. And sometimes, the greatest show of strength is in knowing when to let go.